you. Right. So let's put that down here. That's 2. So last time I started building here the distribution to show the amount, how the project itself provided liquidity and what the account did with that. And it turned out that idea number 1 didn't really work. Idea number 2 also didn't work. So I wanted to split it up like this here and generate, auto-generate an SVG file and then split that one up as well. But that also doesn't really work because I'm having a hard time here to really show the timeline, and also on the new networks the provided liquidity is quite small, so also these chunks here, if I split those up in 3 parts, it's hard to really make links out of that. So that's why the idea before was to have it like blocks, which I could make a little bit bigger and also go in the horizontal view. But there I had the problem to visualize the streams going back into the treasury account. So, and that's a fairly common thing in web design and everything, is if it doesn't work out, scrap it and find a new solution. So I've been thinking that I will not show exactly anymore which part of the token, of the one whole token, gets placed where and how it's split up over time, because I think it's more interesting to just show how the token currently split up and is distributed, and then just give some track to make it more easy for anyone to do the research how it went. So I do have the transactions in here. I already also made like quite a lot of nodes in here, which probably 90% of that will get thrown out anyways over time. But the idea is to make a timeline that splits up in the horizontal view and that just let it move then through the window. And I started to scribble something on a piece of paper, which looks like this. And since the webcam view over there is quite small, I just open up this one here. So basically show the minting process, then the first time it splits up, and then show where it gets placed, and then where it stands there, and then how it splits up again and again and again and again, and then maybe make some raster in there to show the days and let the days count up over there, and so you can see then what happens, but you won't see anymore. So basically the split up for 12.5% and the split for 50%, that looks basically the same. It just makes this connection lines and the dots, which get animated, they build up over time to have it fairly to have some animation there. But I might scale the dot a little bit just to suggest to make some slight visual representation of the size, but overall it shouldn't be too small because the dot will be the link element. So if you tap on that, you get either more informations or you get linked to the transaction proof on the block explorers. So that's one thing. And then there's, so basically today I'm going to do three things. One will be drawing this graphic here in Adobe Illustrator to have the representation and also the vector graphics to place then later on the website. Another thing is the fix just a minor thing here on the swap panel, so that if you select a token that is not yet deployed on that specific chain, that the link doesn't add that part to it. So for example, if you choose AVAX on BNB chain, then right now the to token, the from token is empty, which I think actually would do the job anyways. But no, fill it out. Come on. Why is it loading? So, and it should, oh yeah, so it did select BNB chain, but no token there. And now the question is, if I edit that here to not have the from token attribute anymore, how it would look like now. Basically the same. So I could either let it that way and just don't care anymore, or let's see. So basically here the link gets created all the time. And I could basically just switch it out to have that the last element. That's probably the more beauty part. So if that isn't empty, then we take the link and expand it with this here, and then we just delete this stuff here, and that should do the job. So if the from token, if the from token contract is empty, so either because there's no entry, or no entry yet, or I just threw it out, then the link element doesn't get added to it. And now we do the same here. So if the from token contract is empty, that's good. And for the connects bridge, we don't really care about that. And that should make the link way more, a little bit, way more is an exaggeration. So let's load that. And we have that one in here. So if I select AVAX on BNB, then there is no from element anymore in the link. But if I add BNB, then it adds the from token, which is, since it's the native token, just 0000. And if I jump in there, it should pre-select BNB on BSC, and fractional gnosis. Works. Easy as that. So, and there is one thing that actually bothers me a little bit, and that is that you can use super tokens on Ethereum so far, which isn't possible right now. So it is something that's not true, but the real question is if anyone actually selects this and we open it up, then it would just pre-fill this one here and leave the rest empty because that token doesn't exist. So I would say that's fine, because why would you swap anything you don't have any yet? So I think that's good for now to have that here. But for the rest, the swap panel now works, and it doesn't add the from token element anymore if it's not necessary. Hello, new viewer. If you have any questions, feel free to drop it in the chat. I'm happy to explain everything, whichever question you might have in there. So we've fixed number 1 on the agenda for today, and the last thing I'm going to do is that token distribution timeline, which basically this here, drawing that in Illustrator. But I also wanted to do something today, and I thought maybe I should wait just a little bit and do it then live on stream. Because some time ago I made this animation here, and to show, I think that's one year old or so. And just ignore this part here. Let's focus on this here, and it just shows back then X-side chain on Honeyswap, then Polygon with Uniswap, then Pancake with Pancake Swap on Binance Smart Chain. That was the name back then, and then Ethereum with Honeyswap. So what I want to do now is adapt that animation here I made in Cinema4D quite some time ago, and remove the DEXs and add all the new networks. So I have the same animation in the same style, and then I can use that in for the stream and for tweets and whatever. So just to show you how that worked back then, I'm not so sure if you can see the menu and all the elements here on stream, because it's quite small, the text. But basically that's, so I'm gonna remove the logo here and also the text, because we don't want that for this part. And I'm just going to show you up. Oh no, I turned the camera. Fuck. Okay, let's close that once more. And so, let's, okay. So, first thing first, I'm gonna fix the camera, so whatever happens, I can't screw it up anymore. Then I'm gonna put my space mouse here, so interacting with the 3D room gets better. So basically how that animation here works is I'll go here. So rip. What is happening here? That's correct. That's wrong. Okay, there is something. Did my configuration get lost? Yes. Yeah. Let's see. So that feels red, but front and back. Yeah, that's better. Then up and down. That's also good. Okay, apparently everything needs to be. Okay, for some reason, everything was a little bit funky. Okay, so I do have here the all the elements as a spline path, and if once the time runs, okay, we need to get way closer here. So you can see it's the 3D model, but it does move up and down, and while it's moving up and down, the path starts up, and when the path so basically the logo, you never see it fully. So when the path is at 75%, it already starts to fade away again. So that's how it works. And then the next comes in, and the next comes in. You can do that also with After Effects, basically, by just animate the path there. It's kind of the same, but I do like this a little bit more because also the depth of field is I think easier to do here, because you can see it's a little bit blurry and then it fades out into it, and that's basically just the focus in there. Okay, so, and we are going to throw away the dexes because we don't want those in here, even though the Uniswap animation is one of the cooler parts in here. And so far we have XDAI, Polygon, Binance, and Ethereum. So since XDAI chain is now the Gnosis chain, we have to redo the XDAI chain, and then also make the same animation for the Avalanche, for Optimism, for Arbitrum, the Gnosis chain, and for Cello. So we basically do all the networks that are on the radar for the project. So how are we going to do that? We are going to open the needed SVG files we already have from building the website, because we just need the paths. So let's go here, let's go to the website, and since we built everything with SVG files, we have the vector graphics, and we can take that, and it's gonna save us quite some time. So we're gonna need Optimism, Arbitrum, BNB, Cello, and the Gnosis chain. So we're gonna open that up in Illustrator, and let's see. Okay. Okay, but I don't think we gonna need to. The BNB we already have, so I think I'm missing something. Did I miss something? We do have Binance 1, 2, 3, so 6. We just need 3. 4, right? I'm slightly confused. No, optimism is missing, so that's why. Okay, let's just open up optimism as well. Okay, and if you don't know, if you want, these are the paths, and we need them as splines in Cinema4D. And to do that, there is a trick. So you can't import SVGs or something else, but what you can do, you can import Adobe Illustrator files if they are saved as Illustrator 8. That's where they stopped supporting it. So, and I think it's because afterwards they integrated a few new things that you can't really that's not possible to, that's possible in Illustrator with passes but not with splines, and I think that confuses everything. But if anyone really knows why that is the case, I'm curious why. So we are going to save that as optimism, and we give the EL8. That's just for me to know. And the important part is that you choose from the version here, not the current one, but Illustrator 8. And if you do that, then you also get here the warning that text is getting converted in passes and everything else. And if you want to open it up in another place, that there's might be something wrong and everything. But since we already know that we just want to use that to get the splines into the Cinema4D, that's good, I would say. BNB we already have in there. Then there's the avalanche. I'm gonna save that as well as Illustrator avalanche E, and remember ourselves that that's the EL8 file. I'm just doing this prefix here, this suffix here, just for myself, that when later on I ever want to use the I ever am searching for an avalanche file or something else, that I'm not using by mistake the Illustrator 8 file. That's basically the only reason. Then I'm gonna save that as well. That's for the Arbitrum. To material, Arbitrum 8. Okay. And then we also have here the Gnosis chain. And the only thing where I'm not going to use the original file is for cello, and I'm just gonna explain why in just a second. Fuck. Shit. Yeah, you can call it Gnosis chain EL8 as much as you want, but if you're not selecting here Illustrator 8, that's not gonna work. Make sure that Arbitrum is also. Yep. EL8. Okay. Avalanche as well. Avalanche, yes. EL8. Okay. So now the reason why I'm not using cello for this, because for the website, and because I know that it was just going to be a non-animated version of that. These two rings are combined now, and if I would animate them, then I already know that building it up wouldn't look very good in there. So what I'm doing instead is, let's take a look at the current cello logo, because you can see here on top it's Let's make that bigger. As you can see now here, it does have 2 rings. One is green and the other one is golden. And they do overlap here. So I'm going to, I think it's probably even easier to just export this to have that as a reference in Cinema4D and then just use the circle element in there. And the other one would be just to have 2 rings in here and then export them. But let's do that as well, just to have one different approach than usual. So we are going to save that here too. Cello, EL8, and straight up. Okay, good. Now we are going to switch over to Cinema4D and we are load here the new file. Yep. So now we have the OP in here. Then, but it's combined as one element. So we are going to do that again. And we don't say that we want to connect them. Okay. And now everything are different paths that I can move in there. Then we upload the Arbitrum as well with the same stuff. It's nice. Then we load Avalanche with the same. Then we load Cello. And then we load the Gnosis chain. Okay. I'm gonna place that to the let's turn those. Okay. And then we are going to place everything in the center. Okay. Oops. Interestingly, Gnosis chain gets its own folder, its own null object. Okay, whatever. Then we are going to take a look. When is there? There's like here it is on. We are going to grab that one here. Let's duplicate the X die because we want to switch it out with another one anyways. Let's make it a little bit bigger so we know how far we move that down. It's -15. -15. Oops. That's the wrong one. Why? Oh, yeah, because it's scaled by 10. So, 50. So, and now we go into another in here and we scale that up. That's interesting. Why was the other one off? That seems weird. But let's place it so it is actually the same. So now we have that one in here, and as you can see, all the elements, the previous elements of the old X-side chain logo was consisting of 5 elements. So we have these 5 elements here. They are all these sweep elements. And how sweep elements work is you have 2 elements in there, 2 paths in here, and one shows how it looks like, and the other one is wrapped around that way. So the best thing to visualize that would be a cube, for example. So I'm just going to show it to you. So I have here a path. You see, that's the path. And if I would have here a circle around it, let's also make that a little bit smaller. So if I would wrap that one here around it, then you're just gonna use this sweep element. So I'll place the first one in here and then the second one in here. And what I have now is this cubey thingy. And if I make the one bigger or smaller, then that basically changes. You can, that was, I think, one of the first things I did when I started with 3D graphics, is you make a weird kind of three-dimensional spline here, a path, and then you make another one, and then you wrap that one around the other. So if I'm gonna close this one and I put those in here, then you can make this super weird 3D, three-dimensional thingies. And the really fun part is if you grab like one of these dots in here, this one here, well, let's make a bigger one, that's more interesting. And if I move that, then of course the element that wraps around the other one, that changes, and that makes sort of these effects. And it's still a little bit, has a lot of edges, but you can increase that by using more points. So it's getting this cool shape in here. And yeah, then you throw some lighting on it and it looks super fancy. But that's just for the explanatory, which element I'm gonna use here. So, and now we look that's the circle in here, that's the circle out there. Let's name those. So that's the face. Then that's the left eye. That's the right eye. And then we have the head outer and the head inner. And then we also take a real quick look how we did the animation part here by going to the dope sheet line. Okay, so each one of these dots here are keyframes. So you can animate stuff by very simply saying that's the value at that point in time, and that's the value in that point in time, and then the 3D the program does everything in between. It's exactly the same as with CSS and the transition element that we used in the streams also before. So it's exactly the same like here, where I'm saying at that point the element is scaled to that degree, and at that later time in time it has to be scaled at that point, and everything in between this scaling function, that's very smooth. Everything happens in between without any additional things to do, and it's exactly the same in the 3D projects, in the 3D programs as well. So let's take a look, because that's 1 year old and I'm not sure if I remember everything. So okay, everything happens at the same time, so they all build up and close at the same time. So we can just copy everything. Let's see, we have 5 elements here and 5 elements down there, and that's kind of nice because we can just throw these out here and replace them with the new paths. So face here, then we have the inner, outer, then we have the left eye and the right eye, and that now will look like this. Okay, wait, let's okay, let's move that in here just to hide that for a second. And if I move it up, then it moves here up as well and is animated in the same time. But as you can see right now, it does not really open up like I want it to. So for example, let's take the right eye here. The animation starts at this point here, but I would like that it starts in that edge here, because then also on the left eye I also want to have it here, and then the animation goes downwards. So we are going to go here, and then we can adjust the order. That's the wrong order, of course. There was a 50-50 chance. And now we can take a look. Oops. Now that eye closes down, and then it opens up, and then it should, you can see, maybe I should place another camera here to get closer. Okay, testing camera. So, okay, so a little bit more. So it, yeah, of course, not too close. Okay, so it starts off, goes in there, and then closes, and then holds up. Okay, now we have to look for the left eye, and there we change the order, and it does move up here, so we change that forwards. So okay, so now if we just focus on the eyes, okay, wait, I'm just gonna remove those here just for now, just for you to better see it. So the both eyes move downwards, so they look like really mean, and then they fill up, and closely before they actually are full, at where they are 75%, then they start to disappear again. So if I move it up, you can see they're going down, then they fill up, and it's closely before they actually close down. I don't think it's actually 75, I think it's 90% or so. Everything already starts to disappear again. Okay, so the next thing is we are going to take a look at the head there, and that actually looks kind of cool. And since we have something, the head inner as well, that's in here, we are going to let that start also from that same dot down here, but let it create in the other way. So the outer creates like this, and the inner creates like this. So at some point they are fully created, but again, when closely before they reach the completion point, it starts to disappear again. And we are going to do that by bring this forward, and now that looks like this. Okay, not that bad. And then we also take a look at the biggest thing here. And that's now a little bit tricky one, because on one hand it would be cool to let's try something first. Let's go there. Okay, let's start it up here. So it builds up the face. But it takes quite long. So let's save that face for a second. And let's try something new, so that it starts here in the center and builds up simultaneously left and right, and then connects down there below. And closely before it connects down below, it starts disappearing at the nose point. Let's try to build that now. So we have here the animations. It goes until 50, so until 60 to build up. And let's see. Let's see how we would do that. I would need that to start sort of here. So okay. Let's move the dots in front, so that it starts at the nose, builds up at the left side, then goes down here, and at that point it should start disappearing up here too. But that should happen okay, it should reach that point, and from here on out it should disappear again. So let's remove that, click that. Take that away too. So we want to have that one here, and 50% and 50%, that it's gone. %. Okay. Okay, but let's do that the other way around. So it really starts with the nose. What the why? Okay. You know what? Bucket. And let's 4. Why the fuck? Because basically just like that. Why is that the case? But we can do that also in another way. Because let's get this up here and we just make half a face for now. So we don't, just gonna close this, then we're going to delete these ones here. So we have the left side of the face, and then we take a look here and we are going to delete this part of the face. It looks like kind of weird because the spline is still closed. So we are going to move that along. Okay, so now we have one element with the left side and one with the right side. So we're going to take a look at this as well. And so we have the left side, it opens at the nose, opens up the eye, goes to the center, and closely before it reaches it, it starts to put everything down. And then for the other side, that would be this one here, it starts down there below. So we are going to change that here, and it opens it up, and as soon as it goes down here to connect, it already starts to disappear at the nose line. But one tiny problem, probably you didn't see it on the stream because it's so far, but when it started up, you see these here, since it's not a spline anymore, they are not connected anymore, and you have this cross section here. And we can fix that by simply moving that dot here just a little bit downwards, and that one a little bit down here. So we are here on that line. Then we're going to go back here, and technically the spline points aren't at the correct position anymore, but that's okay because the path actually is still the same. I mean, we do get this behavior here, but you won't see it because it's just visible for 3 frames. And if you can see that, good luck with you, because it's just 2 pixels anyways. So let's take a look how that animation looks like. I think people can recognize that it's the Gnosis channel, right? Good. So we can get rid of that, and we can duplicate that one, and let's see the arbitrum symbol. Let's take a look here. Let's scale that up, but I think that's 500 looks kind of good. I'm not really sure why it's not in the center. Kind of weird. I think there must be some reason for that. Yeah. Okay, so I did. Let's take a look at the Arbitrum logo just for once, because I made it one color for the. Because on the network sections, every logo just has one color. But I still do have the original here. Let's take a look if that's the better option to go along. We have network logos, Arbitrum. So this one here, ungroup that. Yeah. I hate that. So, and now the question is, should we animate everything just like this, or each element separately, so that basically these two go along the borders and these fill up, that fills up, that fills up, and that fills up. I mean, we can take a look for once just to see how it looks like. Then we just place this one in here. Take a look at this, and then we just remove the other ones. And that would look like this. I mean, obviously we don't want to start that one in that corner. I would probably say this one here. So it would look like this. Not so sure if, and also since the logos are just one color. Yeah, but we might should add that. And we are here, Arbitrum 40, 160, and 220. Arbitrum. Why is that animated? Are they still animated? Interesting. Is that? Ah, yeah, because it's building itself up. Why? No, it doesn't. Not sure, but then we'll just make a new one. Just kill everything, and it's 40, 160, 240. Right, that's correct. Yes, it's the arbitrum color. Okay, call it arbitrum. Let's put that here and apply that to the arbitrum. Good. Then we also take a look at avalanche, and there we have 3 passes. 1, 2, 3. We're going to change the color, which is 232, 232, 65, and 66. Okay, apply that in here, and okay. Let's see. We are. That's better. It starts up here. And I mean, the circle is nice. Yeah, I think actually I like it. I was thinking if the small one should start in the other direction, but I think it's fine. I think it's fine because then you see that these two are related. Okay. Hey, thanks, Bennett. And let's close that one here as well. And then we also need to do optimism. Let's get this one here. Optimism. Optimism as 255, 4, and 3, 2. Okay. And so we are going to place this one here, take this one away, and see. Is it still up? Yeah, of course it is. But if we go down here, the 15. Interesting. now what we can do now is we are going to take this here and take this one here, and then we are going to place the circle in here. So then the circle already builds up. Then this one here, this, and now we have the outer of the letter and the inner of the letter, and the outer of the letter and the inner of the letter. See? So the question is now, do we want to have them running like race cars, the same direction, or inverted? And I would say we let the P start here and then go up here, and at the same time the inner P should start here, and for the O it should start maybe down here as well, like this. So per letter they go in the same direction, but the two letters go in opposite directions. Okay, so let's start with the P. Let's give that one in here, and that's here. That's P outer, that's P inner. Okay, so if we start that up, then let's take a look where they start. So the outer P, we're gonna have to take that forward, 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 and forward, and forward, and forward, and forward. Okay, so the outer, it starts here and gets moved around. Okay, and the inner, it first of all, it moves in the wrong direction, so we are going to change that. Unfortunately, there are so many unnecessary dots in here, and we might even make this inner one here a little bit smaller. Okay. Okay. So now the letter looks like this, and the inner, let's save this one here, duplicate that. So and we have here the O outer, that's the O inner. Move this one here. Okay, so let's see how that animates. We want to have that in the other direction. Up there, and let's start it down here with this one. Okay, back, 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 back. So that's the first one where it starts, and the O should also start with that one in here. So back, 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 and back, and so. Okay, so now that whole stuff should look like this. The big question is now, I mean, Avalanche, I'm gonna do the Binance in the midst anyways, but both of them started on top here, the ring. So maybe I'll change the ring also to start from the bottom now. Okay, OP then. And then we do have cello in here. And cello is the interesting part here now. So because we do have see where that's placed. Okay. That's now a good question. Should we make, I think we should make 2 rings, like 4 rings that also go in different directions, I would say. So just go here and make that smaller. Then we take this one here. Then we put this in here. Apparently that's 12. And then we are going to make sure that they are exactly the size we want it to have, which is this. Interesting. Are these real circles? Well, yeah, they are. Okay. So that's the first one. Then we gonna need a bigger one. It's this one. Okay. And then we're going to move both of them down here. Down. Okay. Delete that. So we have these overlapping rings here. And we are going to have 4 of them. We don't want small portions in here, so we're going to optimism. Okay, well, let's cello green and interesting because I think we should open up the cello logo just to be sure. We have here the material, symbols and logos, network logos, the cello logo package. Let's open that one up. Yeah, so we want to have that green, and that is 53, 218, and 127. Hey, thanks for the follow. Really appreciate it. Okay, and then we also do this cello yellow, and that's this one here. It's 251, 204, and 92. Okay. Not so sure if I'm actually going to use the yellow, but let's better have it. And so these are the top ones, so we want to have that one here. well. And oh yeah, might should disable this stuff here. So, but we don't want. Let's change that. And let's should leave that as circles, but since we know that it starts here, we just turn this, easy as that, by 125, so they start in here, and then we animate the other one as well. That's the small down, big down, and we are going to move those also, just 45, and let's see how that looks. Would probably be even easier to just make it one. And that one really fat. But technically also the polygon logo isn't outlined, and everything else has some, let's call it, creative liberty. So let's align the time span a little bit, and then let's see for the first time how it looks like if we really oh shit, there it is. So now we do have all these happening at the same time from the sheets itself, and as we can see previously, they would overlap, so they always start when they are already disappearing. I think, or in the middle, probably. Oh, okay, yeah, because they are grouped together. The overlapping part always grouped together. So we are going to let that stay at the beginning. Then let's resort that one here. So the order is gnosis chain, then polygon, then optimism, then arbitrum, then binance, and avalanche, and then cello. So, and we can close this here, and okay, because I'm using these ones here, so I'm gonna that. Still, so that makes more sense. So, and polygon. So we are just gonna move these here, so they, as soon as they start disappearing, they start building up the new one, but with just some slight delay here. So that's this one here. Then so when they're fully built up, they already start building the next one. So it gets this interconnected kind of style here. Okay. Get that one here. Then we have cell up here as well. And then Ethereum. Finally Ethereum. Then we can get rid of this one here, and in the scene the camera doesn't care. That's all temporary. Okay. Well, let's take a look. If we hit play. Oh. Yeah, I probably should enable those again, otherwise it's gonna show. That's interesting. Why is that now so small? And is the path thickness is the same? Yes. So we're just gonna grab these and then we're gonna scale that. Not gonna happen a lot. %. I mean, that's just a tricky part here. Okay, but I think in that case we should leave that to 1 on that as well. Okay. And then we have the arbitrum, which is good side. Yes. Then Binance is also okay, and then we have Avalanche here, which is also super duper small. That's not thick at all. Is that all? That's more like it. Interestingly, why isn't that scaling? That's good, looks good. That could be thicker as well, I would say. Not so sure why the scaling is so off there. We have the cello. because it's okay. I should have scaled the other one. Never mind, but it's okay. So, and then Ethereum builds up and it closes off and it's gone. So we can take a look. Looks good. Okay. Do feel like that optimism is still a little bit too thick. Let's I think the scaling went off at some point, but that's no better. And Arbitrum feels like gigantic. I'm gonna make it smaller. Okay, but the width is good. It's also good. That's going to be a little bit less. I think 3 is a little bit much. 2 is better. And two beavers are better than 1. Okay, let's go down. That's also better with 1.5. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna try something now for Cello especially. So it starts up here at 360 and it just builds up the passes. But while it builds up the passes, I'm gonna turn these ones too. So let's see the top circles. We already turned them to 115, and we want them to be, since that's out there, we want to have them until here, so it's to 35. Okay, 215 and 15, and the big one 2, and before they disappear it goes to 35 as well. Okay, so now these put up here, and then we do the same for the small ones. I'm gonna save that, and when they disappear at 30, we are going to add 100. Now they just interconnect at the end and not at the beginning anymore. And we get this nice double movement here. Okay. Okay, and I think we can render it now. Let's save that. Let's see if we can get closer. See. Yeah, but it could be that then the focus doesn't look cool. So we are going to render this like this, but with a higher resolution at 2160. Okay. All pictures. Physical, it works, until it's none. And we want to have that as 10. Okay, 1 second. Okay, so we is multi-chain networks. 2180 by 2180. Okay. That's it. And then let's render that. Everything here that gets calculated by the CPU, so we can take a look here at the load as well. If you see it now, it's at 100. I think I can here the that's it. So or is that better? Nah, not much. So that one is on full load, and it's gonna take quite a little bit until everything gets calculated. So let's see, it's 12 seconds, 10 seconds, and we have 750 by 10, so 60. So that's gonna take 12.5 hours. That's like a lot. But the good thing is you can let it run and then just basically just go and grab a beer or something. I mean, I could tweak it a little bit so it's faster and stuff like that, but let's sort of dial that down to back to 180 and 180. And also I think the samples, yeah, that's fine. Let's do it like this, and let's re-render it. So we can, so it just takes 2 seconds per frame, and then it's going to be finished quite fast. Okay, so now we made the animation here. Let's render that. Let's let that render in the background and move on to the other task for today, and that is the visualization of the token splits by the project. And that will be, it's going to be this graphic here, right? Like this timeline with the dots in here, sort of in the style like that part in here. So also the section will be, it will be called like important transactions by the project or something like that. So when did the token get minted? When did it split up? When did the project provide liquidity and stuff like that? Because at some point everything will be fixed and it doesn't really change much anymore, and I just need to keep track of moving liquidity back and forth and stuff like that. So, or if an NFT gets sold and the income gets and then there's the snapshot vote about that, where to put that liquidity in there, then the timeline would also get a new update. So I think it's going to be the timeline section in here, because everything else took way too long to build it up, and it doesn't really work if you have the circle. I mean, it would work if you would split the animation then also in separate parts, so that you sort of get the zoom function or something like that. But doing that with SVGs on the web is like clusterfuck. Also, it's going to be very hard on mobile, on the responsive styles. And I think with this longer timeline, I can either do it downwards or on the mobile phone, or just simply make it scrollable so that it moves slowly to the side through the screen, and that's basically it. Okay, I am gonna put this here on the second screen, so you should be able to see it on the stream in the corner, how the progress is of the rendering. Let's take this here, a little bit smaller. Or leave it there. Move it up here. Okay. So, but I think I'm gonna have to, yeah, because the chat window is on top here. So it would be better to do it this, right? Let's do it like this. This one here in front. Yeah. So you can see in the top corner here, next to the chat, there's the progress on the animation part. Okay, so we can leave that one up here, and we are going to open up Illustrator now. Close all of this. Close this, close this, close this, close this. Nope. Nope. So we now, let's close this also here and give that another try. That's the old one. It's not, because I think I started at some point. Steps. There we did it all in parts. that was just a sketch. Yeah. Okay, so let's make a new one here. And get rid of this. We're going to need. Let's get that away. So we are going to need now. We're going to save that. Yeah. The background. That's the colors. Distribution. Because we might need to steal some elements from previously, and then it's beneficial to have it already in there without needing to jump back and forth. So we are going to draw a very rough sketch here of that graphic, and then probably next time do the fine-tuning in there. And with the fine-tuning also comes the we do start to figure out how to actually build that. But so quick explanation what this graphic is actually about. I'm gonna show it to you right here. So basically the token got minted with and then the total supply was 1. Then nothing happened for I think 3 days or 4 days or so. So I have to make the line here and make that also white. Okay. So then the token still stayed the same, but it split it up at that point to this. Okay. And we transform, mirror that vertically. Okay. Okay. Then we are going to need that once again. In here. And what? Let's make a new one. That starts here. Oops. Sort of the same. Okay. And geez. So and we also transform this one. Okay. So we move this one down here. Okay, so and here that's the first time the token actually split it up. Oops, hold those. You don't want any border in here. No border. So. And there we now have, let's go 32. Okay. And then that's 32, so we'll make that 16. Then that's also, and that's 24. Okay, so because what happened there, half 50% went into the Honeyswap XDAI pool together with 1000 XDAI. Then at the same day, 12.5% went into a Honeyswap Miva pool. 25% stayed with the project at that point, and then 12.5 went into another pool but stayed there. Let's see what the color for Honeyswap was. Let's gather this one here. So it got minted by on Gnosis chain. Now, let's do the coloring another day. So, but basically that's the 50% Honeyswap pool. That's the 50%, 12.5% Honeyswap pool with Miva, and that's it. Basically, these stopped here. That one got reserved for another pool, and then chosen to get used for the cross-chain expansion. And that one here is the whale account, and here I started a stream. Oops. And the stream goes into the treasury, and we are going to make that a little bit smaller to 12. Okay. And that is now a good question, how we're going to do that. So I would say we are taking this one here, go a little bit on top, a little bit on top here, a little below here, on top here. Oops. Here, and then into that. So, okay, but smaller. Then you're going to duplicate that and in here. Oops. A little bit on top and then a little bit to the side. Just they are ever so slightly off. And that goes up here, also into the middle, and that one, this one down here. Okay, fine tuning will happen in the next 2 days. Then we are going to use that once more. And just use that a little bit. Then we're going to use that, and we're going to reduce that a little bit. That down here below, and then we're going to take all of them. Also put that a little bit down below, and this one here. They go here. I'm gonna remove that. Move that one, and then this one goes below. Also somewhere more like here. Okay, and this one we also remove here the center one. Take this, also move it somewhere here, and that one somewhere here. Okay, and then let's not make that too super duper fat, but that's gonna look quite nice when they are animated, so they are always pulsing in and out. That's the camera, so they go in there and they start building up and then disappear again, and start building up and disappear again, kind of like this pulsing effect here on the distribution part. Where is it? There it is. So you can see this pulsing line here, but just multiple of those. But yeah, but I think it's for the testing. I think we should make them a little bit thinner and then smaller. Because it's an ongoing stream, and that is going to be relevant then later on as well. So, and then we do have here another line. One, and then for quite some time nothing happened, and then that get moved over to polygon, and I still need to find a way. Whoops, hold on a second, I'll be right back. Okay, so back. Okay, so yeah, that's gonna be a little bit interesting because I need to figure out then how I managed to make the switch to another chain, and I think I'll just leave that one in here, and then later on with the animation part I'll because all of these dots will get the correct chain specific color, and here on this point it's gonna turn from the Gnosis chain color to the polygon color, and that's the that basically indicates the first time the tokens move to another chain. And later on that's gonna be this part here. Whoops. Later on that's gonna be here. I think that's a little bit weird to see, but I bridged some parts from that expansion account to the specific networks that happened here, and then they split it up to to provide liquidity on the specific network, then also provide a little bit of funds for the superfluid sentinels, and then also a stream back into this network specific treasury account. So there the token split up again. But here in this section here, something that remained on Polygon got bridged to another chain, and I don't have to change the color of that dot, so it's going to be more like that the line itself changes, or the dot stays the same, and then later on you can see that that the dot has a different color now. So in that case, the token got bridged from Gnosis chain to Polygon, and then I think a few weeks or so nothing happened, because the NFT sale was on, and then the first NFT got sold, and so I'm gonna clone this one here as well. Okay, let's put that one in here. So, and here the first time one of these break out, okay, but just ever so slightly. Let's make that a bit smaller, and maybe also not that much. Yeah, a little bit more. Okay. Okay. And then that's one of these small dots. Let's go down to 10, even if it's not that much. I'm gonna add the descriptions and the colors and later on, and then I'll figure out how much space everything needs, and it's gonna get overhauled anyways at some point, so why spend the time and thoughts there now anyways, because usually I run into some problem, and then it's good to not have wasted too much time in it. Okay, let's get this here, because then also a few days went by, and then I provided additional, this, and then I opened up the next pool in there, and then quite some time everything was fine, and then I mean this one should be slightly, ever so slightly smaller. No, let's go with 14 just for the funsies. Okay, even though, yeah, I'm not so sure if that indicator is actually a good idea or not, but let's stick with that. And there we now have this one here, and then we're going to need another one that goes up here, because here the token split it up quite a lot. And how did that happen? We are going to use exactly this part here again, and we take this one downwards, then move forward, and scale that a little bit down. Okay. Not so sure if that works now in this case. I think I'm gonna have to separate those at some point. Yeah, let's figure that out later. Okay, this, and like that. Okay. And these dots now, then we'll get a different color. Well, that's way too close together. But I need to split it up later on as well, so we are going to redraw them manually now. Let's like this here and just tiny a little bit. Then this, here and like this. Go here and then we transform and scale that. But not scale. Transform and mirror that down here so we can put those on that. Let's put it backwards. Also a little bit forward in front. Yeah, that's better. This one also. Okay, so that's here now. Optimism. I think now I can start putting them in there. So that one in here. That's now Arbitrum. Then up here B and B chain and avalanche at the end. Okay, and like this, and oh wait, we are one too close. We are going to need this and move that back because that one here is still the polygon account. That's still the polygon whale. And after I set that up, the polygon whale also opened up a stream to the treasury on Polygon. Although I'm not so sure if I actually, I mean, that's basically just to prove that the first stream, that there is actually a stream going on, and yeah, whether or not that's relevant is another question. Okay, so we are going to extend that by 3 times. Okay. And then this stuff here also split it up into, so we still have then the whale, let me see, and then there was on sushi and for the sentinels. So let's grab these 3 there. Let's take that, let's scale that down a little bit. Okay, and then let's here, and same this down here, and you know what, that is actually still too much, so we're making that even smaller. Yeah, because also the timeline checks out in that case. So do that here. That as well. Okay. That's this. I mean, I think I'm gonna place then there also the small symbol, so you see that there's the whale symbol. I think I have it on the old page somewhere. There's the fraction V1. Yep, there's the whale symbol. Whoops. So these will hold to identify what's the circulating supply and what everything else is. So it's more straightforward than to put that here, and I'll delete that one. Put up here, transform, scale that. Okay. Like I said, fine tuning happens next time. This is just basically to finally have one first working draft to make sure I can let that sink in and then later on make it better. So for example, next time these are still way too close, way too close together. And even smaller then. I don't like it. I don't like it this way. Okay. But probably okay for now. Okay. So you're going to need, whoops, yeah, great. So group and ungroup this one, and color that one blue, and then regroup those and ungroup these ones here. We select them, give the new color, and we reselect it and regroup it. And then same last time here. Okay. All right. So got that. And then there's one thing missing, because here this in the stream I moved at some point, I think the actually point must be here somewhere, so the timeline doesn't really exist. So the positions, they don't really reflect the actual date in there, because I think these are 2 days and these are 400 days. So that line will stretch out quite a while, quite a bit. And somewhere here in between, I moved a little bit of liquidity from the treasury account to the to a specific account for symmetric liquidity, and that got provided by the treasury account. So I'll reduce that also a little bit. And from here on, here, I think I'm gonna need, okay, so here, that went up here, this, I'm gonna switch that over, okay, and then we have another one. Yeah, I mean, the question is, should I really make there like 4 of them? Because the, if you take a look here, there, where do you have that? So basically there were there are 3 pools, and I mean in that one it's 0.10%, so it's a super small one. It's not like 1/10, so I would actually think to scrap that. And these are 5 days separated, so yeah, let's put them together, but let's make the next one a little bit longer, and then I think that should be fine too. Let's delete it. Okay, let's make it. So we are going to start here, we go up here at the same length, here, and then go out a little bit further. Okay. So now we here the harness with liquidity. 5. I really need to figure out the correct sizes so they are still nice and clickable, but that's another story. Oops. Okay. And then this here moved for till the same day, or maybe half a day. And then I provided their liquidity as well. This, well, let's half that a little bit, and then we do like this. Okay, then this, and Yeah, I'm not so sure about the timeline yet. Because that's a little bit confusing. Maybe needs to be a little bit longer. I think here that longer. That one like this. Okay. And also a new one. This. Oh, let's redraw that. This down here, here, down here. Key. Back here. Okay, I mean, technically there would be now also these here as well, and that like super small. This. And that's back to the treasury. What? Let's put it in there. I can always throw it away later on. Okay. Then, because I really do like to see the streams in there, even if it's just a very, very tiny amount. Okay. Yeah, and then now I do remember why I did this double bridging over there, because I didn't want to stream liquidity that's actually reserved for the expansion to the token, and there's 0.1 got bridged from Polygon to Optimism, or to the new 4 networks, and the exact 0.1 got put into the liquidity pool on SushiSwap and on PancakeSwap, and everything else like the Sentinels and stuff like that needs to come from the treasury account. I can't use that from something that's reserved for liquidity. So that's the reason why there are 2 bridgings into the same account. Now I remember. Okay. Yeah, I think that's it. And can put that away. Let's view that one here. So that's basically the timeline. Okay, let's place the dots here really as well. The first one, let's say that's these two. I mean, technically they all got minted on Gnosis chain. So that, and that's also this. And then here got bridged. That's then also polygon. That's, yeah, really need to do some scalings there then later on. Okay, yeah, but it doesn't look that bad. At least looks better like last time. And once the labels are in there, these icons are in there, and the animations are starting, then I think that could look quite nice, actually, I would say. And that actually reflects. It's going to be interesting how the days actually work out, because I think if each one of these days are, I think I might need to make some caps in there and tell down there below the time span, or maybe place that in here, how many days. Let's figure. And as far as I can see, the rendering animation is almost done, so it's finished in, I think, 30 seconds or so. Then we can also take a look at the animation here, and once that's done, I think it's time to end then the stream for tonight. Okay, so give me that last few frames here. Okay. 10 frames left, but they are all black, so it's gonna be just 2 seconds. 3, 4. Okay, then we're going to import all the files as in AfterEffects. And we're done. 50 minutes. It took 50 minutes to render that animation. Okay, we are going to import this. Yeah, let's keep the alpha just for now. Can you composition? Then I'm gonna make here. Oops. Black background, since we're using the alpha. And now we say, what's the frame rate we want to have there? Yeah, let's see how it looks with 30. It's too slow. It's like very slow. That is like super duper slow. Let's crank up the frame rate. Ah, that's nice. Then we cut off a little bit. Let's go to 800 by 800. Okay. And we are down to about 15. Let's give that another try. Yeah, might adjust the arbitrum because it's such a long path that it's building up way too fast. So I really need to split that. But we're going to do that next time. Let's export this and let's take a look in the VLC then, and then we're good for today. Let's close that one. Yes, let's save it. No, we don't want that. Come on. Rings. Fucking dynamic link server. It always takes forever to load. Okay, we don't have any audio. We want to use the maximum render quality with the maximum depth, because otherwise the black starts to look grayish on H.264 with the H.264 codec. And fraction multi chains V1 4. Let's call this because we have to adjust it anyways in the next days or so. Let's export this one here. We don't need that anymore. Let's give that a try. Let's look. Where is... There it is. Yeah, it certainly could use some fine-tuning. Especially the logos should overlap a little bit more, so not a single logo stands alone at some point. And yeah, I do really like the Gnosis one. The OP is also good. The Arbitrum isn't yet one, and the Avalanche also is a little bit boring, but I think it's a good start for today. Okay, then let's back to the side. Let's end the stream with that, having that here. So that here below will replace the liquidity section here, and if you hover on it, you should get forwarded to somewhere else. Maybe I'll even make an info box down there below, so if you hover it, it shows sort of this extended tooltip that you have the info box with, for example, for HoneySwap, for this one here, if you already, you would see at which time the liquidity got provided, how much liquidity, with what it was 1000 XDAI that got passed in there, along with that, how much of the UniV2 token got back, the link to that token, so you can see that it never has been moved and something like that. So there are quite some side infos I would like to show for transparency reasons, but and that wasn't really possible with these, or it just didn't feel like it was a good idea. All right, it's 11 o'clock here, and Adi is always the first. Yes, you are first. You're first in chat. Not the first who's watching, but you're first in chats, and I am second in that case. Thanks for tuning in, Adi. Always appreciate it, but I'm basically done for today. I can do a quick recap what I did today for you. So I did some fixing on the swap box here. Basically just some JavaScript adjustments, and then I moved on to build in Cinema4D this animation here with all the logos in there, so I can use it later on for tweeting or for the next stream introductions and stuff like that. That's this one here, so I can show it to you. Cinema4D. Open this one here up really quick. So that's the 3D model there, and if I move the timeline, you can see that this is moving towards it, and then it disappears, and so on. Yeah, that happened tonight during the stream, and then also and then there's this section where I want to show which important transfers the project did on the token and how it affected the splitting it up. And at first last time I wanted to have a box like this that splits up and shows it. So it's basically like this, but that didn't really work. Then I thought, let's do it like a circle and create an SVG from an array, which looked like this. It had some potential. Also, I wanted to split it up, but since SVGs, you can make SVGs as circles in SV or parts of a circle in SVGs only by tricking it with the border. So you have like this half circle and you give it a border that's the same size as the radius, that it makes this half circles. I can't apply any other styles on it, or to make it like, or for example, like an additional border on that. And I also very limited how I can animate this, because I do wanted to expand it then later on and then take these lower things and also expand them even further. And then if you want to click on them, then these very small percentages are very, very small, so it's hard to click on them. So I ditched that also, and then I drew basically this timeliney thingy here, and I started making the first draft here, how that would look in vectors. Yeah, it's a little bit complicated. And that's basically the timeline that the project provided. Next time I'll do some fine-tuning in there, so you can see right now everything has just the colors from the specific network. So that's the Gnosis chain. That's where the token got bridged over to Polygon. Here it got bridged to Optimism, Arbitrum, BNB, and Avalanche and stuff like that. There's this part where you can see that it's a stream to another account. And next time I'm gonna do the fine-tuning on all of this. Also the timeline itself isn't really correct, because from here to here it was just 5 days or so, and from here and then from here to here it was 1 day, and then from year to year it was 400 days. So that scaling doesn't check out in any case, but it's just a rough draft for me to have something to start work with. In the end, it's probably gonna look way different, but it should have the indicators so you can find out which network you're currently dealing on, then maybe some small icons, which DEX it got provided, because this here is for HoneySwap on Gnosis chain. This is also HoneySwap. This here is Sushi and QuickSwap, stuff like that. So there's also, and then also some tooltips that you get more information, and also the links to the transaction on the block explorer. So everything that's sort of the transparency section of the website, where I want to show what I did with it, so everything is up close and everyone can make sure that I didn't grab a bunch of liquidity or rug pull or anything or something like that. That's just for that. Okay, so that's for me for tonight. Next stream will be on Thursday. If you have any questions, if you're just watching a recording of this and any questions came up, feel free to reach out, either on Discord or on any of the others, or join in next stream and ask on the stream chat, like Adi did. Anyways, happy Halloween and see you next Thursday.